What up, everybody? It's your boy, Strawhatbrody here, back at it again with another World of Warcraft video. So today, we're going over the survey Blizzard snuck under our noses, thinking nobody would notice, about what specs would we want added to the game. Now, these are for existing classes, just added on to their talent trees, a whole different spec that we could possibly have. We got some heavy hitters in here that we wanted for a while now. We have shaman tanks, warlock tanks, even rogue tanks, and it's just the list goes on. It's actually pretty crazy. We're just going to put our spin on it, and I want to see how these could even work in game. All right, so here we go. Let's get into it. Okay, so first up we have the healer hunter. Utilizing a melee and ranged arsenal, team up with your pet to disperse bandages, medicines, and tinctures to those in need. Administer first aid to your team as you dart and weave along the battlefield, with your pet complementing each heal with its own. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this sounds completely out there. I don't know how Blizzard would really make it work. I can only help but think in a way that it could work. And what I'm thinking of is basically your pet could actually give your teammates or people in your group, it could give them damage resistance based on the pet family you have. So all of the tankier pets should be able to give people in your party shields or damage resistant capabilities, depending on each pet, right? Like say if you have a turtle, it would actually go in its shell and rotate around like a party member. It could do that to give them damage resistance. Or you could have a woolly mammoth or a bear literally runs in front of them to shield them from damage. I think that would be pretty cool. And as the hunter, you would have healing bullets or potions you could throw at your teammates. I think that would be a cool dynamic way to go ahead and implement healer hunter. And I know it might sound like a combat medic of an engineer, but that's how they might weave it in. We don't know. Okay, next up we have support priests. Bless allies with inner fire, increasing their effectiveness in battle. Smite enemies with bolts of light to build up divine power, eventually performing holy words which can burn enemies to ash. This, I think, sounds really cool to add in the game, and I think it's going to play a large part into the Arathi and how we're going to discover more about their culture and classes and kind of power systems that they have, right? So this, to me, honestly sounds like a battle priest chanting hymns in the middle of the battle while their party members are fighting. They're just saying words that are actually cursing their enemies, I guess, if you will. Where you can see the words flying through the air in burning, and then it hits the ally, it hits your enemies, and that's what does the damage. I think that would be pretty cool. Or if it even flowed to your allies, and then that's what gave them healing. I think that would be this could actually be a nice support class. It could be a different take on the evoker that does boost and shield allies, where this can heal and also just focus on damaging enemies. So that would be almost like having two healers per party group. I don't know. Like a main healer and an off healer. I don't know. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this one is dear to my heart because I am a monk main at heart and I love the monk class. Here is a spec that they want to introduce, I guess, or they're throwing out there, is the ranged DPS monk. Overload your inner spirit, manifesting your chi as crackling lightning bolts and sharp projectiles. Bends the flow of your target's own spirit, disrupting and unraveling them from within while maintaining their own perfect spiritual balance. This, I think, is the monk's, spec to include the Shah. So now, not only can you use the crackling jade lightning, or I think, honestly, the color of the lightning should be, you should be able to choose that between the August Celestial that you claim to serve under or you learn from, right? That's just my opinion. But anyways, back to this. They should be able to use the Shah because the Shah helped disrupt the one, your spirit. And that was all in Mr. Pandaria. And it could be, I'm thinking JJK. They could bring in black flashes. You could bring in even, say, from Naruto and get all the anime kind of, flair to it. Imagine a Chidori. A monk using a Chidori in World of Warcraft. A Lariat even. Come on now. That would be beautiful. And then they could even throw in, with the sharp projectiles, you could throw in shuriken throws. You can actually have a large windmill shuriken to throw. Like, that would be amazing. I don't know. I'm hyped for that. Like I said, this is Blizzard's chance to bring in more of the Sha aspect of the monks and how they can, I guess, even maybe channel the Sha, but like they said, maintain balance between all of that. Because that's what the monk is finding harmony within oneself, not totally alienating either side. So I don't know. I'm hyped for it. I would like to see it. That's just me. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so here's a longtime favorite. People have been asking for this for a while now. I think it was even since the Burning Crusade, people have wanted this in the game. We have finally tank shamans. So the description reads, master the element of earth. Raise boulders as physical shields or to shatter your enemies. Manipulate terrain to hinder or disable your enemies. And harness the earth's deep, latent energies to fortify and empower yourself. And we have a lot of these spells even with the evokers. So maybe we would see something like that, like maybe a crossover quest line with shamans going with the evokers to learn more about the earth in defense against Eridikron and what stories, that are coming with the Last Titan. I think that would be really cool, but, I know there's been a lot of theories and everybody can tell you how tank shamans can work. But I think if they're going to introduce this, they need to introduce another spec on this list that we're going to get to. But I mean, I don't have much to say. I think tank shamans have been talked about enough. You could go search that up. It's a beautiful idea. I'm for it. I'm all for it. But there's other cool ones on this list, and I know the next one is actually pretty cool. Okay, with this one, you got to think outside the box. All right, just walk with me here. Just walk with me here. We have rogue tanks. So deft duelists who use their precision for protection, deflecting blows with parries and quick dodges. They utilize poisons to weaken their foes and tinctures mid-battle to restore their health. Now, I think this would actually be a really cool tank spec to have in the game, because it reminds me of back in Wrath of the Lich King, all of the Death Knight specs, if you had a high enough, I think it was defensive rating, you could tank. And that's how Blizzard used to do it. But I think with with rogue tanks, you can go ahead and raise your parry rating. And with each parry you get a damage shield. And I think that would be really cool. But then, hear me out to add it into it. Because if you're just deflecting all the time, the boss would just migrate to another person, right? They should give the rogue tanks like multiple charges of intercept. And when you intercept diving in front of somebody else, because you're a rogue, you're still fast, you're still nimble, but you can now dive in front of your team members to then take aggro, and you get you buff yourself with a shield, because that gives you an automatic parry. And you can have kind of like chain movements, kind of like their killing spree, where you go around and you poison everybody that makes everybody target you. And then you can have kind of blade dance, which is more of a defensive shield now. And I think they could get really creative with it and make it a more position-heavy tank, where if you have a rogue tank, you can't necessarily go really far, because your rogue still the intercept range can be low. So this would work in groups that stack a lot, and mechanics that require groups to stack a lot, where the rogue is just kind of diving in front of people to take the damage. And I think that would be a really cool concept to manage in there, almost like how monks have stagger. It would be I don't know what you would call it for the tank rogue, but I think that would be pretty cool. Dashing in front of your allies to take the damage, give yourself a shield buff, and you're just parrying attacks. I don't know. I'm having fun with these. I think the tank rogue would be pretty cool. Let me know what you think in the comments. So this one, I don't know. I think Blizzard would have to choose between this or the other one, because the other one is support priest, but now we have a ranged DPS wholly specific priest, and the description reads, a radiant caster that scorches foes with searing smites and consecrating flames. Ascend into an angelic form, channeling pure, unbroken beams of celestial radiance that pierce through ranks of enemies. I can see this as actually being a crowd favorite rather than the support priest, because I don't think people are actually fans of the support idea. maybe. I don't preferably, I don't actually see a lot of evokers in my dungeons or in the things that I do. So maybe, yeah, you guys could tell me if I'm wrong. But I think it would be either or, and they, I think majority of the like the people who play would actually want the DPS spec. So I think that would actually be pretty cool. Using similar to everything I said with the support priest, but just turn it offensive. Like make it kind of, the hymns you say do more damage to the surrounding enemies around you. And make that kind of like an area effect bubble, like how you would have it in holy or your area effect healing. Make that an area effect damage that's just around you. That's like within a certain radius around where you're standing. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, next up we have the support paladin. I know this is out there. I know this is different, but let me tell you why this is cool and it works. Okay, so the description reads, perform holy rites and channel the light to bestow potent blessings on allies, consecrate their armor for resilience and their weaponry to strike with precision and power, and bolster their spirits to amplify their inner strengths. So real quick now, take support paladin out of your head, think paragon. That fits this description, and I think this works. If tank shaman is coming into the play, I think the paladins then should get another DPS slash support role. Because if you think about it, the shaman has 2 DPS specs and a healing spec, and then it would have a tank spec, which is similar to druid. But then I think paladin should also follow that, suit in gameplay, and this could fit perfectly. Because now you have where you got your shield and your spear. Of course, that should be the makeup of what the weapons like the class would use. Or I think any two-hand weapon could work, and a shield. And like you're chanting with your allies to like give them attack boost and stuff like that, or even defensive boost. But while you're doing that, you can hunker down with your shield and provide a wall or something like that, like how Faerun did in the end campaign cutscene, or like the end campaign scenario, how Faerun was able to hold up her shield and stuff like that. Or you could use a lance. Yes, a lance would be perfect for this. I don't know. I think that would fit, and that would align with having tank shamans. We get tank shamans. We also get support paladins or paragon paladins. And they can even throw in more like, think Vicro with the shield maidens. You could give in more with those abilities. Imagine channeling a beam of light from the shield. Like that would be crazy. That would be crazy. I don't know. I think this class works. I mean, this spec works. I think the setup with tank shamans and support paladin is a brilliant idea. Bring both of those in. That works. But let me know in the comments. Of course, we're going to go down the list because there's still some other ones that are really good. Okay, so here we go with another people's favorite. We have the tank warlock. And I know people have been asking for a tank warlock for a while. They see it. And I mean, when you go against a warlock in PvP, half the time you feel like you're going against a tank anyway. So I'm going to read to you the description, and we'll see what it sounds like. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm biased. I don't play warlocks. I don't really know their spells or even abilities like that. So how can they really be a tank besides just being hard to kill? I don't know. But let's see. Tank warlock, channel fell energies through maces and ruined shields. These warlocks ward themselves and their allies from damage. They command a host of demons, siphoning their essence for vitality, binding their souls to share incoming damage, or unleashing them in waves to overwhelm their enemies. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what abilities would work with that on the class right now, but that sounds pretty epic. That sounds like peak cinema. Almost like how you see, like imagine you're the warlock tank in the raid, and your team dies and your team wipes, and you just start summoning like a legion of demons, and you kill the boss. That would be amazing. That peak cinema. So Blizz, I'm for it. Okay, so again with this one, we thought we would have had it in Wrath of the Lich King. We thought we would have had it in Shadowlands. Finally, we are getting it, the ranged DPS Death Knight spec. Now, I'm going to read to you the description Blizzard has. Unleash the powers of a Lich. wielding necrotic and frost magic to torment the souls of your enemies, conjure corrupting phantasms, grasping hands, and chains of ice to assail your foes, while avoiding death yourself within your phylactery. Now, I'm not too knowledgeable on the lore behind the liches and all that stuff. I was wanting some more channeling undead in there, maybe to just be like a necromancer, kind of, but I guess that they're reserving that for unholy. Unholy is going to be the most necromantic spec we're going to have in the game, I guess, until we just get necromancers, maybe. Who knows? This, I guess I'm not really a fan of what they're saying going on, where you're channeling unholy and frost magic, and you're attacking people, so it's just a mix of unholy and frost from range, I guess. I don't know. I was hyped for the title, but the description kind of left me underwhelming. But y'all let me know in the comments. I guess because unholy, you're basically ranged anyway if you want to be. I've seen people go ahead and run through their rotations and not even touch who they're attacking. But I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments. Okay, last one on the list. It's going to be different. It's a little bit out there, but I think it works. We have Healer Mage. Use your arcane magic to alter the reality of time to cure the wounds of your allies. Preemptively react to enemy combat by shielding and buffing allies with potent elemental magic. So I think this is more of the Chronomancer that people have been theorizing or seeing leaks about that could work. Honestly, I like the whole, it's like playing on the reverse time ability that mages already have, that like taking that and then you can like apply it to everyone around you. Like, I think that's pretty cool. Like, imagine before a big dungeon pull, you activate that and it doesn't like move everyone back, but it sets everybody's health bar back to full, like back to where it was before the battle started. I think that would be cool. And even Blizzard can give like a rejuvenation or a healing over time where it's like that activates, but it's slowly going through the battle. Like before the battle starts, you cast it on somebody and then it slowly tries to keep their health up, like reverting them back in time over a period of time. I think that would be pretty cool for mages. I don't know how the elemental magic would really work with healing and all that. Again, okay, I guess I just don't play casters in general, but I have a priest. So, I was cool with the priest. But yeah, I really don't know how much more or how that would work. Maybe like healing flames, but let me know in the comments. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the channel, share the videos. We're trying to grow, and we can't without your support. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming by. And please tell me what you think of some of these ideas, because this is how Blizzard kind of decides. I hope they listen to us about what we want in our game that we pay for to play. So tell me what you think. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, see ya.